Hello guys, Lit here, and PoE 2 will entering early access soon, and there's a lot of stuff has been announced today. From the announcement, I'm so excited for the PoE 2. The game feels new and refreshing, and it looks so much better. The visual is just stunning. The game pace feels a bit slower, but it also feels like a very different playstyle, so I'm not sure slower pace is a good term to use. So I'm very excited for the early access, and let's get into the recap for what they announced today. First, we will have 6 classes: Monk, Warriors, Ranger, Mercenary, Sorcerers, and Occultists. Each class will have 2 ascendancy. Monk can ascend into Invoker and Acolyte of Chayula, and Invoker will focus on elemental skill, while Acolyte of Chayula will give access to Darkness, which will grant chaos damage, and I think some node also give some max chaos resistance and double the chaos resistance. As for the Warriors, they can ascend into Warbringer and Titans, and Warbringer grants node for totems and ancestral spirit, and also some war cries. And Titan, it seems like it's all about strengths, and you have node like slam skill can cause aftershock and increase damage against stuns enemy, and so on. And the next one is Ranger. They can ascend into Deadeye and Pathfinder. Deadeye and Pathfinder is still feels the same with the PoE 1, so that the Deadeye is full archer archetypes. It still have the endless munitions, and it's also still have tailwinds, although the tailwinds is being changed a little bit, so you're going to lose the tailwind when you get hit. And the Pathfinder is still focused on flaws. There's a bunch of concoctions too. One can inflict bleed, one can inflict poisons, and all that stuff. And the next one is Mercenary. Mercenary can ascend into Witch Hunter and Gemling Legionnaire. And Witch Hunter will be more about anti-mage. So you have more resistance against magic, and you can prevent cast, something like that. And the Gemling Legionnaire is revolving around the skill gem itself. So so the node is like you gain 3 skill slots, and you can get extra max resistance based on your socketed support color. And for Sorceress, she can ascend into Stormleaker and Chronomancer. The Stormleaker will be Master of Elements, and I think it's pretty similar to Elementalist on the PoE 1. And Chronomancer is a new one. It specializes in time magic, and there's skills like Time Freeze or rewind time to a specific period and things like that. And for the last one is a Witch, and she can ascend into Infernalist and Blood Mage. As the name implies, the Infernalist will revolve around fire damage and fire summon, and Blood Mage will revolve around chaos damage and curses. So that's all the class that are available at early access. As for the ascendancy, you can ascend by doing trials. The trial now is Sanctum and Ultimatum encounters, so there's no more labyrinth. For the exact mechanic itself is still unknown. I don't think you need to clear the whole Sanctum to get the first ascendancy, but we will find out when the early access is live. Now let's talk about how to get into early access. You can purchase key to gain access to Path of Exile to early access. The cheapest one is $30, and you will get access to PoE 2 early access and also 300 points that you can spend on the store. And there's a list of supporter packs you can choose. There's a bunch of them, so I will leave a link in the description for anyone who are interested. Now let's get into the crafting. Crafting has been simplified a lot from PoE 1, and on PoE 2, crafting is very linear. So you can add first mod and make the item magic by using transmutations, and then you can use augmentation to add second mod. And for the third mod, you can use regal orbs, and that will make the item rare. And exalted orb will be used to keep adding mods until you reach the maximum, which is 6 mods. And anomalous orbs will remove 1 more random modifiers. And Chaos Orb will remove 1 mod, then add 1 mod. So it's a very different function from PoE 1. And the Fire Orbs, it will give a random result for the items. The one that I see on the announcement, it can give enchant, it can change the modifier itself. I assume it also can break the items. But I don't think we have the full list of what the outcome from the Fire Orb on PoE 2. So the item progression will be fairly linear, and you probably want to pick stuff from the grounds, so they can start from 0 and repeat the crafting process and hope to get the mod that you want. And the next one, let's get into the game structure. For early access, we will get Act 1 to 3, and then we will get Act 1 to 3 again with extra difficulty. This is basically a substitute for Act 4 to 6 that will be available at full release. And after the campaign, we will get into the endgame. And for the endgames, Atlas will still be the endgame for Path of Exile 2, and we will get 7 mechanics. We will get Shrine, Strongbox, Essences, Bridge, Ritual, and Expeditions. And some of the mechanic will have its own specialized skill tree, and you can get the point from defeating boss from each mechanic. So it's possible in PoE2 to specialize into multiple mechanics. Each mechanic will also have tablets, and I think this is very similar to Scrap on PoE1. It basically adds more encounter for the specific mechanic that will affect multiple nodes. And for the main Atlas skill tree itself, I assume it will affect map in generals. And the Atlas itself is also look very different. I think it's look very similar to last epoch. You're basically going from one node to another node, but you have a lot more complex node. Like there is a unique node. This is especially a unique map on the PoE1, and there is also a node for map bosses, so you're not always going to get map bosses on every single node. There's also a reliquary node. I think this is probably the same with reliquary key on the part of Exile 1. And there's a lot more node, and we will find out all of them when the early access is here. All this mechanic, we also have a specific item that only drop on that mechanic. Like Bridge is dropping Catalyst and Bridge Ring. The Catalyst can be used to quality up your ring and amulet. And then the Bridge Ring itself is become a ring that can get more than 20% quality. And for rituals, you can get omens, and omens now is used for applying meta crafting. So there's an omen on the announcement that it showcase is when you have the omens, your crafting currency only affect prefix or only affect suffix, something like that. And for the deliriums, it will provide distill emotions. This is especially oils in part of SL1, and that will give you access to anointment. Expeditions will still providing logbook, but we don't know if all the member will still have the same function. I assume it is, but I think we still have to wait for the early access to find out. And for the item itself in PoE2, since now all the skill will have its own sockets, the item will still have sockets, but the socket is to equip runes. The runes is like, think of it like an episode socket in PoE1, and the rune itself is very similar to jewels. I think it's only exclusive to socket it into the items. And each item, I think, have 2 socket maximums, and you can get the third one by using file orbs. So I think that's all the recap from today's announcement, and I try to keep it compact so the video is not taking too long. And later on, I will make a video to go deeper on each sections. So if you want more PoE contents, consider subscribe to the channels and click the notification bell to get notified. And also like and comment will help the video to perform better at algorithms. And if you guys have any question, as usual, leave it in the comment below. I will try my best to answer it. So thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next one.